Well, in terms of preaching to the choir, let's talk about that a little bit because, there's right now, NBC has kind of been bought from GE, and the guys there are not opposed to gas drilling. The owners, I think it's the Cook brothers that own the station now, if I'm not wrong about that. There's still some really good journalism going on. They have a new show called Central, and they stole away Harry Smith from CBS. And Harry had a magazine section on the opening of the show. It's a brilliant concept because it brought together some really good journalists. But Harry's whole position was that if you go west, young man, you can get an $80,000 job driving a truck, You could get $18 an hour as a waitress in these boom towns that they're building out west in Montana and, other places where fracking and shale oil is being taken out. But if you did get a chance to see Gasland, you saw what that looks like. You saw what those trucks, those $80,000 a year job trucks look like going through your town and through your valleys. And, I had a cousin in Minnesota they went to the oil boom to work up there in Alaska. And it's a boom. It doesn't last. It isn't centuries old. It isn't farming. Farming is always there, always has been there. And America was brilliant in being one of the first countries to learn how to do it without depleting the soil. Are we going to take all of those centuries of work and care and just throw them away because we can get a few more jobs? That would probably damage the largest industry we have in New York. That's something. This isn't something that can be repaired. And the reason why I fall down on that side of the argument tonight, and probably did maybe 6 months ago, is that I was told the movie with an open mind, and I felt there was such dishonesty in it. The idea, it's called hydrofracking. And then you go and you find out that there's chemicals in it. There's chemicals like toluene, benzene, methane, which, most of us know are pretty toxic. But, here's the irony of the whole thing. A couple of months after I saw the movie, I went to a conference on breast cancer, which, I have people in my family that suffered from it. You probably do too. Their main push right now in breast cancer is to have prevention rather than intervention. And they gave a list of the chemicals, the highly toxic chemicals that if you have a genetic tendency towards cancer may push you or your loved ones over the edge to the point where you do get cancer, are the same chemicals, the exact same chemicals. So when we're talking about advocacy, we're not just talking about the people who live in these areas. We're not just talking about the beauty. We're talking about our survival. We're talking about a subset of human beings who have a vulnerability in their genetic makeup that makes it possible that these chemicals could kick them over the edge and actually, make the disease apparent in their bodies. And it's a life-threatening disease, as you all know. I don't think this is something to just play with. I think it really has to be considered well. Now, this is, everybody kind of listens to these things, if they listen at all, for the morsel that's going to make the difference or whatever. There's so many avenues that people are taking legally and through research to make sure that this is safe in New York, although it's going on everywhere, in Colorado and Texas. In Oklahoma, there's been some reports that possibly ground tremors are being caused by fracking. This is serious stuff. You're breaking our earth. You're breaking the things your children live from and walk on and, survive with. And do we really want to risk it? And why are we risking it? Well, go back to the little thing that Thomas Cole wrote about where he was in the mountains. He probably lived in a house with candles. He probably chopped his own wood or had someone else chop his wood. When he was taking these hikes through the mountains, he would go with his canvases and his paint, and he would depend on the farmers for a place to stay or for some food. And, he made it through these storms. Right now, when we have these storms, everybody is angry. They're angry at the power company. They're angry at their politicians. Why don't you protect us? Why didn't you, why doesn't the lights go on quicker? What's going on? Maybe we ought to just kind of look at the way we're living, and maybe we have to simplify. Maybe we do have to get less dependent on things that aren't going to be able to be provided in emergencies, and look at energy sources that are more constant, that are renewable, that are right near you. I mean, maybe the tragedies of all of this horrible, Hurricane Irene and Hurricane Lee, although I would never wish them on anybody, and I would never want them to happen, but maybe they're telling us something. Maybe we should really listen of what the natural state of this living that we're doing on the planet is, and how are we going to sustain it, if something goes wrong. Something went wrong and many people panicked. And, their idea is, okay, we panic and then we're going to sue somebody, we're going to sue the power company or whatever, it's all their fault. But we're dependent on all of that. And we have some responsibility and some hypocrisy about it. So when we talk about jobs, we're not just talking about $80,000 or a truck. We're talking about creating jobs in new energy fields. And, this is a time to really reflect on that and to not go into the repairs with, just energy solutions that will put you even more vulnerable in the future if these natural occurrences repeat. Maybe that's the message. Maybe it wasn't always a negative thing. Maybe it was something we had to think about. Maybe that beautiful farmland in Schoharie that fed my children and that I love, and that gave sometimes 3 crops a year because it's AAA farmland. Maybe we will have to value it a little bit more and do our planning around that. But anyway, that's my opinion. Hopefully the show will have more people the next time. We'll have some argument, and that'll be fun. And if Mika's book is, what is it? Know Your Value. I guess today my value is, her value is very high, but my value is priceless. And that's all right, because I think what we're trying to save here is priceless. We have to do it without always thinking about the dollar. And that's the show. Any comments? Would you like to come up and comment or do anything? All right. Huh? Okay, good. I'll turn this off. Okay, good. Cool. Do you want to do it now, or do you want me to?